Here we are to continue talking about the Swift programming language, and we're exploring functions. Let's go over the solutions for this first set of challenges. So the first challenge here is write a function that prints your name. So we'll start with the keyword func. We'll say print name, and then we can say print, and you can put your name in here. So I'll put my name in as Mitchell. There we go. Done. Second one is call or invoke the function. So just writing the code here doesn't make anything happen in the program. It just sets up a structure that has the potential to run some code, right? So a function is basically a container for code that can be called on and reused, right? Or repurposed, or run at our our choice, right? So to run the function, I'm going to type print name here. That's the name of my function. And then I'm also going to follow it with the parentheses. So just putting the name here doesn't do anything, right? And then it just gives you like kind of a diagram here. It kind of says this is a function that takes no parameters and returns nothing, right? But putting the parentheses on the end actually invokes the function and it runs the code here. So you can see it printed my name here, okay? So number 3 is write a function that takes a string as a parameter, and the function should print the string with the stars. So maybe we'll call this func add stars. And what I want to do is I want to take a name as a parameter, so that's probably going to be a string, and then I want to print my name, but I also want to include 3 stars at the beginning and 3 stars at the end. Maybe I'll put a space between the stars there. And I'll use the backslash parentheses with the name variable in the middle. So this name variable will be a variable that'll contain a string, and then we'll incorporate the name into this string here. Okay? So let's invoke our function, right? So we're going to say add stars, and the name will be, let's call it Frango, and then see what happens here. Oh, there we go, prints Frango with stars, okay? So next, let's write a function that calculates the area of a rectangle. So it should take the width and the height as parameters and return an int. Okay, so the parameters are going to be type int and the return value is type int. So let's write that function. Let's do, let's call it like calculate area. And I'll just write the whole thing first. And then it's going to take a width, which is an int, a height colon is type int, and then here we're going to have a return type, so that's going to be type int also. So I use the arrow and then type in int. And now I'm going to get an error because it's going to say missing return in function. So it's expected to return an int. So I got to calculate the int, so, or calculate the return value. So we'll say return width times height. Okay? And since these are both ints, then the answer will be an int, and that'll satisfy this, okay? So let's, on the next one here, let's call our function. Let's say calc area, and then it gives me some numbers. So I'm going to use 25 for the width and 35 for the height, okay? And then let's see, what does it say here? Oh yeah, there we go. So 875 is the answer, right? Let's write a function that calculates the area of a circle. Okay, so it should take a radius, an int, and return a double, right? Okay, so let's see. Let's do func calc, calc radius. So I'll just write the whole thing first. And it's going to take radius which is an int, and return a double. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to calculate return. Now there's a couple ways to do this, right? But I'll write it this way. So we're going to do, actually, let's do it with an error first. So if I do it this way, if I say radius times radius, since radius is an int, that's going to be an error here because this is calculating an int, but it wants to return type double, right? So it can't convert type int to type double. So, and then also what I want to do is I want to multiply times 3.14, right? And so this is a double, and it's not going to let me do the math here because this is an int and that's a double, right? These are okay to do the math, but then it's not the right return type. So what we need to do is we need to convert the radius to a double and then convert this other radius to a double. And then we can do the math with a double and get the answer. Okay, so let's actually call calc radius. So let's do calc radius, and our radius is going to be 10. And then let's see. Oh yeah, 314. So that actually looks correct, right? What if we did radius of 11? Oh, 379.94. So that actually looks pretty good, right? Okay. So anyway, so there's the first set of solutions. Hopefully that's helpful to you. And if you have any questions, you can ask in class or in the comments.